Okay, so I went over here to the other um, set of data. I entered it in for X and Y. Um, this time I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the scatter plot, but I'm also going to show you how to find this correlation coefficient. Now, I put that formula on in your notes just so that you can see how ridiculous it is. And I do not expect you to use that formula to find it. When StatCrunch in your calculator will calculate it for you. So the main point of me putting it on here is to show you that you do not want to use the formula. So here they show you some scatter plots and they show you the value of R, which is the correlation coefficient. And so remember this one right here a while ago, we said that was a perfect positive. And this one right here is a perfect negative. So whenever they're perfect, their correlation coefficient is 1. And for the negatives, it's a -1. So when it's a perfect one, your correlation coefficient will be a 1. Here's a positive one because as we move to the right, the points are kind of going up. It shows they call this one strong. It has a R value of 0.81. So the closer that it is to 1, the stronger that it is. This one right here is a weak one. It's below 0.5. Anything below 0.5 is considered weak. But yet you can still kind of see that as we move to the right, the points are moving up. So it's kind of going up to the right. Anything that's this close to 0 would be considered no correlation. This one right here is strong because 0.92 is really, really close to -1. So anyway, so that's how you read the correlation coefficient. Here's how you find it. So I entered this second set of data right here. They're small colleges. Want to know if there's a relationship between the number of years the alumni are out of school and their annual contributions. So we want to see, you can still do the graph, you can still do the scatter plot, just like we did while ago. Select X, select Y, and then compute. So we can see that this has a negative correlation. The longer you're out of college, the less your contributions are. So, but would we consider this a strong or weak one? So what we need here is a correlation coefficient. So I'm going to move, it won't move too far out of the way. What we're going to do then is if you go to your stat tab and you go down to regression, this is going to be a simple linear regression. So we're going to choose that one. Again, it's going to ask you for the same thing. Where do you want your where do you want your get your X and your Y variables? So we're got them from the list titled X and the list titled Y. It gives you lots of options. We don't really need any of these. I don't really know why this one's clicked, and I can't unclick it. It doesn't matter. We're not going to do either one of those. We want to go down to, we want it to fit a line. We want it to draw a line on there. And we want, I think it's going to do it automatically. Okay, so that's it. So we want it to do a fitted line, and then we're just going to compute. Okay, so notice that there are arrows right here. If you arrow over, you can see again the same, almost, I think it's the same scatter plot. The only thing that might be different is the window, but nope, they're pretty much the same. So you get the scatter plot. It did draw that line of best fit on there for us. And so now with that line being drawn there for us, it's easier to see those points are actually not too far away from that line. So it's not as weak as maybe you first thought. Here's the number that you need right here. Here's R. R is your correlation coefficient. It's spelled out for you right there. And this one, it's a negative because that graph is going down. The points are going down as the X increases, the Y's decrease. So the longer we're out of college, the less inclined to donate we are. And it's 0.9, and if you rounded that up to 2 decimal places, 0.91. So anything higher than generally a 0.75 is considered strong. So we see right here that this one would definitely be a strong correlation. Okay. And I'm going to save this one to do on our calculator. So again, you don't have to have this formula to find your correlation coefficient. You can do it. Again, I'll run through it real quick. It was simply stat. Hit your stat button, go to regression, go to simple linear, put in your X values, your Y values, and go down here and click fitted line and then compute. And it'll show you the correlation coefficient right there. And it will also give you a scatter plot. Okay.